that affect you in any way. Now, many people wonder why we use dark colors. Well, there are two reasons behind it. The first is to scare the hell out of them. And the second is slightly more scientific. Many people believe that coming on a tour like this, or going into a haunted house, will conjure up something that you will see. Well, to the contrary, 9 times out of 10 you will have it. You catch that in the corner of your eye. You will think you've seen something. But your eyes are merely playing tricks with you. Such as people, not to discourage you at all from taking photographs, but when you see those flares pop up in your lens, that's your flash. My tours have had much luck in having something take place. Normally, I conduct the second tour and we can actually stand at the foot of the staircase where most of the activity takes place. But tonight, for some strange reason, I opted to do the first one, partially because I'm not totally comfortable with this tour tonight. The original blueprints for this building do not include an elevator. But there was a shaft that ran from top to bottom, called a dumbwaiter shaft. You do not know what a dumbwaiter is. It is a small shaft that runs the length of a building top to bottom. It runs on a pulley system with a cast iron plate. Most commonly, you would transport things such as clothing, food, and the mail through a dumbwaiter shaft. Now, this building used to have a kitchen in the basement. And back when it was the customs house itself, all 13 employees were fed meals every day. And one of those days, one of the cooks opens up her end of the dumbwaiter shaft and only sees ropes. When ropes are seen, the shelf is somewhere else in the building. So she tugs one more time harshly. Still nothing. She peers her head in to see if she can see the obstruction. And this would be the last thing this woman ever did. But what she did not know was there was a man standing holding the ropes of the dumbwaiter, dressed very much so like myself, looking in between the shelf and the shaft, waiting for her head to disrupt the light one final time. As it did, he cut the ropes, walked down the hallway, down the staircase, was said to tip his hat to the people at the front desk, and left. That when the shelf made contact with the cranium of the victim, the force was so great that it ejected the remains along the wall.
Well, welcome to the attic.
Oddly enough, not the worst place in the building, but It's up there.
We have heard a name been brought up a lot.
Please hold the door.
Your earbuds, can you give us a sound? Can you give us a sign?
Now there were two young volunteers, 18 years old girls. And they had to come down here to the trees. They heard about the story of those girls. The reason we call this room that name in this day and age was unknown. If you look on the scale where my last decision, you can still see the and the roof of a tree was moved.
It'd be real cool to see that chair move.
Yeah, it would suffice. I see anything move. That would be a treat. The chair right there. Can you move the chair for us?
I will be blunt with you. Where we stand now is the part of the tour that I despise the most. This is where utter chaos ensued on one of my tours. It was a tour of about 20 people. Last year, around this time. And there was a woman standing at the back of the room. Just over, about where the woman with the glasses is standing now. With 20 people, we were able to move right the way around. As my eyes peered across the group, I looked at her just in time to see the scream come over her as she looked behind her, more profile for me. As she dropped to the ground, an image walked out from the corner and charged towards the group and then dissipated. And it was chaos. And I am still to this day nervous about this stop. But this is also one of the most intriguing stops that we have. You see, a year before that, we were in the other room and Stephanie was with a tour goer standing here. They were trying to open this door. Now it has no lock or handle. And they tried to push it open. But right here, they felt a pressure forcing them back. And they couldn't open the door. By the time I got here, they told me about this. And so I had to try. Surely enough, once again, I pushed with all my might and the door is forcing back against me. So, knowing that we need to get into the room, I decided I would shove it with my shoulder. Just before I made contact, the door swung open by itself. No sound of contact from me was heard by the group. For saying this, I invite you to enter the room with the hidden staircase. A woman from a courier company drops off a parcel in the front lobby. She takes 5 steps in to where you pay for your tickets. Drops off the box and leaves. But it's what happened when she went to sleep that is important. As her head rested against her pillow and she fell into a deep sleep, she had a dream. She was back in the customs house in a beautiful, beautiful gown.
When I did my tour, we heard something knocking on the wall right under here, right at the bottom here.
Now, I mentioned a lot this evening, that construction company. Well, the first thing that these 15 men endured happened right here. When they were renovating this building in 1998, the men were very careful to clean all their tools up before leaving. However, for 1 week straight, these men would return, finding all of their tools strewn throughout not only the room they're working in, but the entire building itself. At first they thought it was neighborhood kids having some fun, and they couldn't really get too angry because nothing was ever stolen. So they decided to have some fun with these kids. And they left their tools strewn throughout the entire building, thinking one of 2 things will happen. 1, nothing. The tools will be left. They're beaten into their own game. Or 2, maybe they'll be nice and clean the tools up. Well, next morning, 15 men stand right where you stand now. They look to the stairs, nothing. Main gallery, nothing. Hallways, nothing. It wasn't until one of those 15 men looked into the gift shop and they found their tools. It's not where the tools were found that is interesting. It's the position in which they were discovered. Their tools were piled one on top of another in a tower that reached 6 feet in height. If you need a visual reference, that's my height. Until one of those 15 men took 1 step towards that tower, and it began to lose stability and began to swing back and forth violently, once again defying the laws of physics. The men began to run towards the tower. As they did, one man outstretched his hand. Just before he could grasp one of the tools, the entire tower fell. And that would be the start of the murder on the wall of flood that struck, letting the Dark Lady paint this building. Everyone who is Haunted Hamilton staff, everyone who's Customs House staff, has experiences in buildings.